Welcome back to my channel if you're returning, or welcome if you're new. Growing your glutes requires a simple formula, and many of us may overthink the approach of getting a good pair of glutes, what to do in the gym, or even how often to do it. There's really 4 movements that you need when you're building your glute day. And these 4 exercises, or these 4 types of exercises, you can choose any from that category and it will give you the results you're looking for. Really, the reason to change any of those exercises within those 4 categories is if you want to add variety, if you need to change things up, if you got used to an exercise and you need some change, or maybe you're not able to do it because you might have different gym equipment, things like that, then it's easy to at least swap out those exercises when you're using a formula like this. So I'll start out with the most important exercise, in my opinion. That would be a hip thrust movement. And this movement is so important because this allows for the most glute activation without other muscle groups getting in the way. And when you are solely trying to grow your glutes only, or if your main priority is not necessarily overall big legs and it's just to grow your glutes, then a movement like this is going to have a huge spot at the top for how you prioritize your exercises. And it's important also to start with your big heavy movements, your compound movements. Hip thrusts in this case would be considered a big movement. That's one of the exercises that you'd want to include a little bit sooner in your exercise as well. So after you're warmed up and you're good to go, then starting out with your heavy hip thrusts or even B-stance hip thrusts, glute bridges if you're on the beginner end or if you're trying to do some type of recovery exercise. There's also single leg hip thrusts for a bit more of an advanced movement, or if you want some variety in the equipment that you use, you could do a barbell hip thrust, a dumbbell hip thrust, or you can go to one of those hip thrust machines that they have in some gyms. I know Planet Fitness has a glute bridge machine in there now, which is great, but you don't get as much weight on there. So if you're someone that's looking for a little bit more, then of course other methods mentioned would be a bit better, or you could use the Smith machine or any type of like bar or dumbbell for extra weight. The next important movement to include in your 4-part formula would be a single leg movement. And this is an essential move because now you're challenging your single leg strength, which will help with imbalances, as well as start to challenge your stabilizer muscles as well. So when you shift from using both feet to one foot, then now you start to recruit the demand from your gluteus medius and minimus, therefore assisting with that wider glute look and that overall rounded shape towards the end. There are a number of single leg movements that you could do, including lunges, there's step ups, Bulgarian split squats, even single leg press. And I think I'd vouch for the single leg press for beginners, honestly, because it has such a low barrier of entry in terms of how easy it is, being able to really control how much weight you can use for it, because when it comes to using your body weight and more weight on top of your body weight, it gets a bit hard to control your body. And unless you've already developed the strength to be able to handle your body weight and more on one foot, it's going to get a bit harder to control that. If you're someone that also has knee problems as well, it will also be super helpful to do the single leg press as someone getting into single leg movements, trying to balance out those muscle imbalances that you might have between your 2 legs and really focus on having good quality movement and recruiting those stabilizer muscles. So next on the list, we've got a hinge movement, and hinge movements are essential for that top glute development if you're trying to get that shelf look. And depending on how you execute the hinge movements, you can get your hamstrings as well. A little bit of technicalities there when it comes to technique for hinge movements, because you can start recruiting other things more than others. But nevertheless, movements like the glute biased back extensions or good mornings or RDL movements as well are all super good glute medius activating exercises. The more that you start to work your stabilizer muscles too, especially in the order that you do these, if you were to, for instance, warm up with the abduction machine and then go straight into the good mornings or RDLs or something like that, you're gonna really feel your stabilizer muscles, especially because you pre-fatigued them And now that you're going into that movement, you can really tell that they're active when you do that hinge movement. If you do good mornings or RDLs or the back extensions that are glute biased, if you ever do those and you can't quite feel them in your upper glute like that, it would be helpful to do some activation exercises prior to that, just enough so that you can feel a pump going on, not necessarily trying to wear yourself out before your actual real big movements. But that's super helpful to recruit the right muscles, being able to have that mind to muscle connection, and for you to actually do a proper contraction when you are going through the movement. So highly recommend that. Last but not least, you should definitely add in an isolation exercise so that you are properly targeting the smaller muscles that don't otherwise get special attention because of larger movements. So compound movements, or like movements that require your glute max, your gluteus maximus, they overshadow being able to specialize and specifically target those smaller muscles that will lend to a better look, a better overall shape, a better overall contraction as well to those muscles. That's where isolation exercises come into play. You get to give them direct attention, those muscles, like the glute medius, the glute minimus, so that you can really build them. Those smaller muscles too, they tend to heal a bit quicker than glute maximus, because glute maximus takes a lot of the load, a lot of the work. You can beat up your glute max and it takes a little while, but gluteus medius and gluteus minimus, they get sore too, but then they also heal quick too, so they might need a little bit more. So isolation exercises also helps with that too, so that you can keep the stimulus going and so that they can keep growing. Some exercises that can help do this for you would definitely be like a glute kickback, but with a rotation. And I say to add a rotation because the glute minimus and the glute medius are responsible for rotation movements. If you just simply kick your foot back, it's almost entirely going to be the glute maximus as the focus and not really putting any stretch or any emphasis on the glute medius and the glute minimus. And for you to have a contraction in the muscle, to be able to recruit it in a way that will signal muscle growth, you got to give it some type of stretch, some type of strain. So that's where rotating your foot when you're doing a glute kickback will help. The cue that I use is to just point my toe backwards. So as I kick my heel back, I'm also rotating my foot at the same time. And this you can really feel in those deeper side glute muscles. Super humbling. Do not use like a crazy heavy weight where you can't actually control the weight properly and do a good movement for first and foremost at all times. Start low and start slow and definitely build up to, because the more you progressively overload, meaning you make it a little bit harder every either day or week, the more progress you'll be able to see in basically the signaling between telling your muscle, hey, I need you to get bigger and stronger to do this, and so it does. If you're not quite there at the glute kickback, or if you can't find a machine to do that, banded clamshells are super good too. They're super effective for getting the glute medius and minimus, and also the abduction machine, which I actually use as a warm-up tool, so that's why I use the glute kickback as my isolation. But if you are just simply using body weight to warm yourself up, then that machine is then available for you if you are in a gym that has one of those. I know Planet Fitness has that, but maybe something like an apartment gym or a hotel gym doesn't have something like that. Just know that having some bands is super useful too. Or if you have some dumbbells, which many, if not all places have it, you can go ahead and rest the dumbbell above your knee as if you were doing the banded clamshells, but with the weight on top of your knee. And you can go ahead and do that movement that way, and it'll still give you a similar effect. If you're looking for a plan that has everything done for you to kickstart your journey of building a really nice set of glutes and just overall balancing your body shape, emphasizing the look of your hips while reducing your upper body, then I do have a body shape balancing program that is available, and it is a very good foundational program to get you to start to see some results and for you to kickstart your journey. You can find that linked right below. So the TLDR for this, the formula for larger glutes, you will need a hip thrusting movement. You will need a single leg movement. You will also need a hinge movement, something that will put your glutes in a stretched position. And you will also need an isolation exercise so that you can help grow your shelf. If you found this helpful, definitely give me a thumbs up. This lets the algorithm know that you liked it, and it'll push it out to other people that it will hopefully help as well. Until next time, see ya.